Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very exciting video for you guys today. We are going to be testing out some makeup from the brand Alter Ego. If you do not know who Alter Ego is, they are obviously a makeup company and they're really well known for the dupe palettes that they do, mainly on Natasha Denona palettes. I had talked about them several months back in a brands I want to try in the year 2020. As fortune would have it, Alter Ego saw that video that I did and they contacted me about a month ago asking me if I wanted them to send me some makeup products. I of course said yes because I am very interested in this brand. You guys know how much I love Natasha Denona's eyeshadows and how much I don't love her price point, so I'm excited to give these a try today, along with a couple of other things that they sent over for me. So I hope that you guys are excited about this one. We're going to go over kind of what they sent me. I'll be doing a couple of comparisons to another Natasha Denona palette that I have and also another dupe palette that I have, and I will be doing a makeup look with one of the palettes today. So with all of that said, we better jump into the video, but before we do, welcome to all of those of you that, well, all of you, but especially those of you that are new. I hope that you will consider subscribing. And now let's jump right in. So we'll go over what they sent me first, starting off with these right here. They did send me their full collection of eyelashes, which you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, you will know that I am not an eyelash wearer. Kind of wish that I could wear lashes because some of these do look pretty natural and pretty, but I don't know. I might hang on to a couple of these, maybe pull them into a makeup out of my comfort zone video in the future. I do have a sister that I think could get some use out of these, so I'll probably pass most of these along to her. These are $5 a piece, and that's really all I can tell you guys. I haven't tried them out. I don't plan on trying them out anytime soon, and I certainly am not a lash person and don't know a lot about lashes, but I do know that $5 is a pretty good price. So for those of you that have tried them and have any comments on them, please leave that down in the comment section below. The next thing they sent me were their set of matte liquid lipsticks. Now you guys also probably know that I'm not a huge matte liquid lipstick wearer. I do like wearing them occasionally. They're not the type of thing I wear on a daily basis. So I initially wasn't too sure how much use I would get out of these, but I've been wearing these over the last 3 or 4 days, and I have to say, you guys, I'm actually pretty impressed by these liquid lipsticks. I think the colors are really nice. I like the formulas. Towards the end of the video, once we've done the eye look, I think I'm going to give one of these a try today for you guys, and I'll let you guys know kind of how I like to wear them and how I like to wear matte liquid lipsticks in general. So these are $6 a piece, and you can get the full set of the 6 different colors for $28. I do think the packaging is really beautiful. They feel very high-end, probably more high-end than any other liquid lipstick that I own, which I don't own a lot of high-end liquid lipsticks, or drugstore for that matter, but I think these look really pretty. Let's go ahead and swatch them just so you guys can kind of see what the colors look like. And we'll start with the more nude colors. This one right here is the color Crush, which is kind of like a pinky nude. Let me go ahead and take my watch off first. So this is the color Crush. Very nice, basic, kind of medium nude pink. Next up is the color Euphoria. This is kind of like a warm mauve, I would say. I wore this one the other day. I do think it's really pretty. Then I have the color Intrigue, which is kind of a, almost like a brownie nude. There it is right there. And then the color Jealousy, which is a kind of cooler toned mauve nude. It's a little bit deeper as well. This one's really pretty. And then we have our deeper shades. These are kind of our more red shades. This one right here is the shade Infamous, which is like a deep, kind of reminds me of the shade above it, but a little bit deeper. These smell really good. They have a really subtle, sweet smell, but not like a vanilla smell. They smell almost like fruity and sweet at the same time. They smell really nice. And then this one right here is the color Vintage, which is like a classic, sorry, this is a terrible swatch, deep kind of Hollywood red. So there are these 6 liquid lipsticks. I think they're all really pretty. Honestly, I think I would get some use out of all of these shades. I mean, I don't wear shades like this very often, but I definitely will probably use these quite a bit. But moving on from there, they sent me their brush collection, and I did use this. I haven't used every brush inside here yet, but I've used, as you can probably see, about 5 of them so far. I think they're really nice. So these are a set of 8 eye brushes. I would say it pretty much gives you everything that you would need to complete a full eye look. I think they're really nice. They're not my favorite brushes. They are definitely not as nice as my Refer brushes, but they are very soft. They do a good job of blending. They're $28 for the 8 brushes, and I don't know if I showed you guys, they do come in this little kind of container, which I think is really cute as well. We will use these brushes for today's eye look, and also along with that they sent me their eyeshadow base. I have used this the last 2 days and I think it's a really good eyeshadow base. It's $6. It includes 0.27 ounces. I think this writing is so small, honestly I actually meant to bring a magnifying glass down here. But just to give you a frame of reference how much product is inside of here, my Wet n Wild tube, which I'm telling you guys this has lasted me like 2 years and I use this thing all the time, this has 0.34 ounces in it. But I do think this works really well. well. I wore it with my eyeshadows the last 2 days and they lasted all day long. Moving into the most exciting part, their eyeshadow palettes. I have been dying to try these eyeshadow palettes out. These are the 3 that they sent me right here, starting with this one right here, which is the Aurora palette. This is meant to dupe the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. They also sent me the Goddess palette, which is meant to dupe the Natasha Denona Gold palette. Now, I have the original Sunrise palette. I will show you guys the comparison to that in just a sec. I do not have the original Natasha Denona Gold palette, but I do have another dupe palette that will kind of compare this to from C-Color Cosmetics. I also was sent the Sahara palette, and this is the palette I have been wanting to try out from them for a really long time. This is meant to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Biba palette, which I have been fawning over for a very long time. And I'm going to tell you guys already, I've used this a couple of times this week. I got this package about 4 days ago, and I've already used this twice to create an eye look, and I'm very impressed. So this is the one that we'll be creating an eye look with today. But before we get into the eye look, I do want to show you guys some of these comparisons. There was a part of me that hated to open up this palette knowing that I have the dupe for it. I just don't need 2 of the same color story, but I really wanted to know if these formulas are similar to each other, and the only way I can do that is to use and swatch them both. Now, I have worn this one on my eyes once. I have not worn them side by side on my eyes yet. I will try and keep you guys updated on that, but what I've seen and swatched and played with so far, I think these are pretty darn close. I was very impressed. I'm going to show you guys right here how they look next to each other. Now, they are not in the exact same order, as you can see, but I will insert for you guys swatches of the matching colors side by side so that you can kind of see how they look swatched on the arms, what differences there are. I think the differences are very minor. Very impressed with the formula of this. I think it's much more similar to the Natasha Denona formula than this palette right here from C-Color Cosmetics. While I do love this palette, in my opinion and what I've experienced so far, which again has only been about 4 days, I do think this formula is a little bit better. So let's compare these 2 dupe palettes. Again, these are both meant to dupe the Natasha Denona Gold palette. If you haven't seen my video where I tested out this palette and their brand in general, I will insert it right here. I do think this is a great palette. I think it's a beautiful formula. I think this one is still a little bit better though. Now, while these are both meant to be affordable alternatives to the Natasha Denona Original Gold palette, which is $129, there is a price difference between these 2. This one from C-Color Cosmetics is $8, whereas the one from Alter Ego is $16. But my thoughts so far are this. I do think this is a slightly better palette. The packaging is a little bit more nice. It feels a little bit more sturdy. While it may not feel super high-end like a Natasha Denona palette, it does feel very nice, much nicer than even a ColourPop palette. The shimmers are a little bit more intense. They're not quite as sheer as the C-Color ones. And while you can definitely build these ones up and get them to work, they are really nice. I think these are a little bit nicer. So again, I think it comes down to the price difference. If $16 is still a bit of a stretch for you, but you can much more afford $8, then I would go with this one. But if you want something that just feels a little bit nicer in its packaging and has a slightly better formula, I would go with the one from Alter Ego. So I have zoomed you guys in, and now we're going to jump into the eye look using the Sahara palette. I'm so excited about this palette. It is so beautiful. I'm telling you guys, the feeling on these is really sturdy and nice. It actually reminds me, like if the Tati Beauty palette was a little bit smaller, I feel like that's what these would feel like. They just feel really nice and solid. A little bit weighty, but in a good way, and I just think I love the black inside. I have long admired the Biba palette and been very interested in picking this one up, and I have been using this for the last couple of days, you guys, and I have to say I'm very impressed. I haven't used everything inside here yet. I still have not used the gray shades in here, but I've used quite a few of the browns, quite a few of the shimmers, and I just think they're lovely. So before we get into the eye look, I do want to take a little bit of their eyeshadow primer, and we're going to just add a little bit of this to my lids. This primer feels a lot to me like the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It's a little bit thinner than the Wet n Wild one. It doesn't have a lot of coverage to it. It's kind of a mostly sheer primer, so that's something I know you'll definitely want to be aware of. If you are someone that likes a bit of coverage in your eyeshadow primer, this is probably not going to give you that. And now we're going to take the number 3 brush, which I think is the biggest blending brush that they sent me, and we're going to kind of stick with this row right here, which is kind of the berry tone to neutrals. Most of these colors have either a pink or a peach shift to them. I want to start off by going in with this shade right here, and we're going to take that just slightly above the crease. So I'm kind of assuming that these brushes are synthetic. They feel synthetic to me. I will list that information down below, but they are very soft. They feel a little bit like the Morphe brushes to me. They're soft, but they also are a tiny bit scratchy at the same time. If you use them for a long period of time, you'll kind of start to feel, if you have sensitive eyes, that they can be a little bit scratchy, but not super scratchy. In fact, I think it's very rare for a brush not to be scratchy for me. Most brushes that I try can be a hair on the scratchy side, other than most of my rougher brushes. These ones are completely soft. They have no scratchy factor to them at all. But as far as how they work, I think they're pretty nice so far. Just continuing to kind of build that color up. Okay, now I'm going to take a slightly smaller brush. We're going to go in with the number 1 brush. This brush reminds me a little bit of kind of the shape of like a MAC 217. So it's kind of fluffy, but also kind of pinched if you turn it sideways. We're going to take this shade right here, which is the shade Adobe. And I'm going to take a little bit of that just right through the socket. I think I want to build this shade up on the outer half of the lid a little bit. And I want to pull a little bit of this kind of purpley berry shade right here into my outer corner. And for that, I'm actually let's take that same brush, the number 1 brush. I'm just going to tap the very tip of it into that shade. And we're going to just kind of build this into the outer corner. I'm basically just kind of going straight on like that. This type of a brush, when I'm using it in my crease, I like to turn it kind of sideways. But when I'm using it in my outer corner, I really like to just kind of use the tip of it a little bit more. Hoping this color will give it a little bit more of like a berry tone. I am pretty sure there are videos out there of some people that have actually compared this palette to the original Biba palette. If I can find a video like that, I will try and link it for you guys down below in case you are curious how this actually compares to the original Natasha Denona, since I can't really comment on that today. Okay, I am loving this color right here. I think it is so pretty. Alright, so now I'm going to go and take this brush right here. This is the number 5 brush. This is just kind of a classic, somewhat stiffer smudge brush. These are the type of brushes I love to use on my lower lash line. And I'm going to start off by going into this shade right here. And I'm going to run a little bit of this under the lower lash line, about 2/3 of the way across. And with that same brush, I'm going to dip into the darker shade. This is the shade Sierra, the one I used in my outer corner. And I'm just going to run that right under this outer corner. And I'm kind of pulling it up to meet this upper corner and kind of just shaping this corner right here. So I have that slightly kind of more wing shaped. Oh, the sun just got really bright. All right, and then today I really want to try and use this black shade right here. Instead of going in with an actual liner, I'm going to try and just use their shadow. So we're going to go into this black, which is the shade Mesa. I have not used this shade yet, but I'm going to take the number 8 brush, which is kind of a small, it almost looks like a flat liner brush that's slightly rounded. It's just very, very pinched and very small, and I'm going to use that just to kind of build up some depth on this outer corner. I'm basically just lining my outer lash line with this black shadow. Alright, and now we're going to add the shimmer. I'm going to take this shade right here, which is such a beautiful shimmer. I've used this already a couple of times this week. It's the shade Jewel. I love the formula of these. They're almost very creamy feeling, and that's how a lot of Natasha Denona shimmers actually do feel to me. They feel almost like a cross between a cream shimmer shadow, like a potted shadow, like the Hourglass ones, and a powder. Look how pretty and brightening that color is. Oh, I think it's so pretty. Now I'm going to go back into that, where did that brush go? Number 1 brush, and we're just going to buff this edge a little bit. And that's pretty much it. That was such a quick eye look. Let me know if you guys want to see me come back and do another look with this palette, but this is the finished look. I am going to add a couple of coats of mascara. I think today I'm going to use my Tony Moly mascara, and I will be right back with you guys. Alright guys, so here are the finished eyes. I am so happy with this eye look. I'm very, I know I've said this a few times already, but I'm very impressed with these shadows. They are absolutely beautiful and easy to work with. But let's finish off with the lips. I'm going to share with you guys how I've been really enjoying using these liquid lipsticks this week. So I like to start off by adding a little bit of lip balm underneath, which I already did. I just put on some traditional chapstick brand chapstick. But I think for today I want to use the shade Euphoria, which is kind of like the pinky mauve shade. Let's swatch this one again. Yes. I think this is going to look really pretty with this eye look. So what I like to do is I like to apply this just to the bottom mainly. And mainly to the outside. I'm almost just kind of like lining my lips with it, but obviously much thicker than a pencil liner would be. And then I'll just kind of blot. And I'll add a little bit of shape just right here on the top center. Again, just kind of blot, and then I'll let that dry a little bit. Now this is actually deeper than I like to go on my lips, but what I've been really loving is taking a lighter lipstick on top of this. I know this is a trick that probably a lot of you know. I'm just going to take this one from Milani. This is the color Matte Innocence. This is probably one of my lightest lipsticks in my collection, but I love using this to kind of lighten up another shade. So I'm just going to add this right on top and kind of blot it together. And I like to use my finger just to like blend everything together, and it also helps take off any excess lip product if there's a little bit too much on. And then I like to top that with a lip gloss. So today I'm going to actually take Honey by Persona and add just a little bit of this on top. And that is it. Very comfortable. It's going to last much longer than just a traditional lipstick with the gloss on top. Now I can't comment on their longevity if you wear them on their own, because I know that's how they're meant to be worn if you really want to get the most out of their longevity. And I honestly just don't like wearing liquid lipsticks like that because they're just too uncomfortable for me. But so far, very impressed with these. Really like the formula, love the smell of them and the packaging. I think they're totally worth $6. If you're already on their website and you're interested in one of these shades, I would definitely say they're really nice. And with that, that is it for my try on of Alter Ego Cosmetics. Very impressed with the things that I have tried out so far. Very impressed with their eyeshadow palettes. Thank you to Alter Ego for sending these to me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you, like me, have had Alter Ego on your radar for a while, hopefully this will help you to decide if they're a brand for you or not. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel today. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you enjoyed this one. And I want to throw in a little announcement and spoiler at the end of this video. Speaking of dupe palettes and Natasha Denona dupes, I did just get this in the mail this morning. I don't know if you can see the small writing on here, but it does say Natasha Denona. And if you're really in the makeup scene, I'm sure you guys know what this is. I will very likely start working on a 7 looks video with this palette, so I hope that that sounds exciting to you guys. I hope that you will stick around and subscribe, of course, if you are not yet subscribed. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. So hope you guys are excited. I said that already. Dang it. Isn't that a sad reality when you realize you need a magnifying glass to read something? Alright, so I haven't really even thought about what I want to do today. I shouldn't have thought of that first.